So first we have a King's Indian game between Najdorf and Taimanov. And we have this cool bishop h3 that we're looking at, hanging the bishop in order to get this. And if you're, yeah, you can pause it if you want just to see the combo. We looked at this. He gets to come up and a fork mate, right? Because the pawn, we removed the defender from f3, allowing the check, and we've placed the pawn on h3, which creates some obstructions. The king stays in the mating net. Okay, but now the question is, after queen e2, we're still sacking. We have 4 attackers, they have 4 defenders. We need to overwhelm it to win the point. What we do tactically. Okay, what's going on now? How do we win this? So if you're watching pause it, if you're looking at the video, we have the class here, so we'll figure it out. Okay, so queen takes g2. What do we have here? Because we can't win that point. You see, we have 2 attackers, they have 2 defenders. So we would need like another rook to actually win that point, right? Okay, what's going on now? What do we have?
Say bring the knight to g3.
Okay, let's look at that line because we want to get on the H file there, right, to open it up, right? So if we go
Right.
knight e3 check, you can't move the king. They have to take. Well, they could take with the queen and the bishop. Let's say the bishop takes. Then what?
So if the bishop takes, bishop takes, you just move the queen over.
It's check.
And right, and then the queen will probably block him.
Right, they have a block. So we only have
Just
a
take
rook
the
on
queen.
g7, a queen and a bishop, and then we could take the, okay, let's say you play queen h5 check, so we have a clearance of h5 square. Bishop takes, queen h5 check. Now they can block with the queen. And all we got here is a bishop looking at g1 and a rook looking at g1 as well, but it can't swing, unfortunately. We don't swing yet. So do we have enough resources at the moment to sack a second piece? We have a bishop against a knight and a bishop.
Rook f6 after
Right away,
knight
right
g5
away.
after knight g3.
Okay, right, so knight g3. And keep in mind the queen could take too, but let's just say the bishop takes. Then we go rook f6.
Yeah, you could do
Maybe
a
a
rook
bishop
lift.
tucks back. Maybe bishop
Oh
tucks.
shoot, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
about
they got resources. The bishop acts like a pawn, right?
yeah.
So knight g3 check. We have another setup. They have too many resources. We want to, okay, but the thing is, we want to exploit the king here based on the bishop. Well, everything's smothered in here, right? Smothered in the corner. We want the knight g3 check, of course, but we have to create the best circumstance for that. What do you think we do to create that? And then it's pretty much inexorable after that point.
Queen
Maybe a rook
h6?
lift. A rook lift. I mean, we don't have enough just this moment, but if you lift the F rook, and it may take a minute, but that will work.
It takes a minute or 2 minutes, and unfortunately in that time they got 1 minute. Boom, they take our queen.
Yeah, let's get that queen out of there. Let's go.
Well, if we had this, yeah,
h6.
if we had the knight g3, yeah, but right, I think you said something as well, right? Because if we can move our queen, we have an attack on
Yeah,
this.
we got some time.
So Ben, we're going to connect your idea though. So where does our queen go?
h6 or h4, I'm not sure.
Well, it's probably more aggressive. Let's see if that.
Okay.
So queen h4, then what are they supposed to do? Because now we have a big threat. Now then we get to go on knight check, right? Well, it's their move, but we gain a tempo on the queen. That's important there. So we have a threat on the queen. Well, the queen can move. Then we have like knight g3 check, and they have king up, but that still looks pretty vicious. They're walking into the line of fire. So yeah, it's queen h4. They give away their queen.
Oh, we'd be happy.
Yeah, so we're pretty happy. Well, they have what? They have a rook,
Yeah.
a rook and a knight. Yeah, rook and a knight for a queen. So we're up a point, but also we still have the knight g3 idea in the future. f3 is hanging. I mean, it's winning, but it's not like it's done. They're not getting mated, but that's why they didn't just stave off mate. Okay. Now let's say the queen, I guess I circled e2 just to say, okay, what if she had gone here? Oh, that's the point. Then we have a fork. So she has nowhere safe to go, I don't think, without getting forked. Same concept.
Nice.
That's why. Oh, this is even worse because you fork and then you have a discovered check at the very end. Yeah, that's vicious. And then I'm sure we don't have a mate here. I mean, whatever, you can take or something. Yeah, you can take stuff like that. So anyway, pretty vicious. So yeah, she just gives it up. And then you see the finish, nice finish. Yeah, we come in, nice hole on F4, the outpost. Ouch. Just swarm. Yeah, just keep the pressure, keep invading a little more. Queen H4, but no, stop. No, no, you're gonna break that. No, leave it there. Yeah, and then they just resigned, it looks like, at this point. I think the rook, is the rook just in trouble? I mean, they can't really retreat, right? No matter where, you're gonna win the exchange. So what if you just go Queen H4? I think it's just probably Queen H4, just if you want to win more material. And then you're actually forking these two when the rook goes back. I mean, that's futile at that point, right? Wait a second. No, wait a minute. At the very, no, they don't have anything else. At the very least, we have this, right? And then you can just take an exchange and yeah, it's done. So that's how that, and just to review real quick, just so you see, how we got there. So this was more classical, you hit him with D5 and you strike at D4. That's a weak point though, right? It's not guarded by any pawns. That's the risk that white takes on by moving the C and E pawns, as we've seen so many times. Same with like a, with the setup botfitting system. That D4 square is weak. So we just need to strike at it, but often that'll be exploited later. But we have the dark square control now. We get our typical F5. And remember, Fischer did C5 to stop this. We get our classic break, and then we're going to look now at how white does their classic break. Oh, does someone say something? And we sack the pawn on G. Yeah, it's glitching out. It's metallic robotic here. Can you yeah, why don't you just send a message, Uday, because it's getting metallic. And then you just infiltrate. So Nakamura's done this. I think Wesley, was it against Wesley? So I don't even know that game. Uday, you know what I'm talking about? I think it was a Nakamura game. So may have done it, or I may be mixing it up. Maybe he did it against So. But it's a common theme to go G3, you trade them off. So it's different from the first game. You see different ways in which you could attack them. And then we saw this moment, cool theme. So you actually, first you're offering the bishop, then you offer the knight. You trade them off, and then you're down a whole knight. But yeah, you're just coming in. And then now we just have a rook and a knight for a queen, winning position, plus the attack continues. Okay, you guys have any questions about that one?
No.
And again, you see the different ways in which it's carried out, right? As different as here, look at this position. Now, very similar position in the Fischer game, where you have, so very similar situation, right? Where you instead of going for F5 with knight D7, you're going for C5, and then you just get your F5 in anyway. But different, just more prophylactic approach. Interesting. Okay, and now we have. So we had Najdorf situation again. So first we had our French in a couple of days. Now we have King's Indian. I mean, you can explore both of these openings so much. Look at but the key is when you know a few of these, a few French and a few King's Indian. I mean, these you're seeing quite a few patterns. Because like for example, in a French, we want to know how to break with C5 and F6 and F4, F5 for white. And here we want to know F5 and C5. But as you see, there's also mixing it up with like C5. Or mixing it up with like not just G5, G4, but G5, G4, G3, and sacking the pawn. So we see many different patterns just from several games. But if you keep looking at GM games, maybe you'll find some other nuanced patterns, or the knight H8 idea that Fischer did to reroute. You'll find cool rerouting stuff, but it's all in the same vein, right? So you really don't need to know. It's a few patterns that you really have to know. Then you just have to be creative to make them work in your games. Maybe you're borrowing from other games, right? But from games that are not King's Indians as well. But you'll see the main themes after you look at like 10 games, and you see a ton of them. How do they win? Okay, now here's, to be fair, Reshevsky beating Fischer. Okay, and I say here, yeah, just Reshevsky nullifies his F5 break. So it's very interesting, kind of like how Fischer stopped the C4, C5. Now I think he got F5 in, but it didn't go far. So it's pretty interesting to see how you can shut down Fischer. So we have our classical version, right? Classical variation here. Bishop E2, pretty common. I guess stop the knight G4, no, bishop G4 stuff, but not a huge difference. So classical here, castles. It can push as well, but you can also let the exchange happen. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe this wasn't the right choice. I think that's different. I think that's a bit different to go to kind of Fisher was just experimenting. I guess this experiment did not work out. Let's see here. Let's see what the book says. Yeah, F6. Well, you can see Black's, it's been tried. It's more drawish, but Black's winning percentage is only 15. With F6, it's 24%. Queen E8 seems to be, well, it's only played 3 times. That's a very small sample size, equal score, win, draw, and loss. Compute, and then I would double check. So since it's so varied, computer probably says F6. Yes, it does. And it says it's almost even, tiny edge for white. So yeah, F6 seems to be the thing to do then. And we can see that in this case study, it didn't work out. But yeah, he probably didn't do it again. It'll be interesting to see if he did it again after the. So bishop F6. Yeah, you can see it's interesting though. So effectively, it makes sense because we've gotten rid of our quote bad bishop, especially after it gets locked up, and they still have their bad bishop. So we have the quote better bishop than them. But we kind of want that bishop, you know, it guards the dark squares around the king. It may get unleashed after F5. Like let's say, you know, at some point when F5 is played and you know, after D5 and there's an exchange and the pawn might push, you know, because I've probably done that before, seen that, right? So even though it looks like it's totally, you know, locked up, that bishop couldn't come out. And also, what if it gets to H6 eventually? Like if this bishop, what if you get to take this and it goes to H6? Obviously, he didn't let you take it, but you know, it has possibilities. You know, in the future, it has possibilities, and it guards the king. But often it go bishop F6 to H4. Remember in the other game, bishop to G5, right? It comes into E3 and wins. So yeah, huge factor in that win. So not to say you can never give it up, but just keep that in mind. Just because you give, we can't be too orthodox. You know, just say, oh, I'm giving away my bad bishop. I'm trading my bad bishop for the good bishop. Well, it's obviously more complex than that. Although fundamentally speaking, it makes sense. But also we're trading pieces and Black wants to attack. It helps to have more pieces, of course, to launch a dangerous attack. But if that's all he's going to trade, maybe it's reasonable. So he's doing the normal thing. Now, keep in mind for white, this is a nice maneuver. Looks weird, but it's kind of like the 98 idea. You go knight E1, you go knight T3. So what it does is it assists in your C5 push, and it gets out of the way of your F pawn, because a lot of times we like to play F3. I don't think that happened in the other games, right? I don't in the Korchnoi game, I think the bishop went to F3, right? But F3 is very common. I think in modern games they do that too. So he takes it. So that's why I say he nullifies the break. Now again, very common break. Well, maybe the fact that the bishop's missing affects
Uday said like you do in the Italian.
Where you do what in the Italian?
Uday said like we do in the Italian. He put it in the chat.
Let me see. Like we do what? Oh, like we do a question.
The night
the
maneuver.
Are you referring in the Italian to knight BD or the Roy Lopez? I think you're talking about knight BD2 to F1 to G3 or E3, right? But here would be the other way, right? It's kind of neat. I remember, Nikki, remember in our practice game, I kind of did that where I got 2 knights here.
Yes.
I went knight F3 here. Well, it's kind of like because your queen was there, so I got a tempo on your queen, and then I just had those knights. But you were doing fine. It's just that the knights were able to, you know, create some queen side play. But Uday, are you referring to this maneuver to G3? And sometimes you'll get a knight on D6 for Black, like to blockade the D-pawn. So it's all sort of similar. It just depends on the unique position. But this has a dual purpose of getting out of the way of the F-pawn. Well, you'll see how this works out in this game. But often to play F3 and create a pawn chain, which indicates this C5 push. But hey, again, we don't have to be orthodox and say, okay, in the King's Indian, white must play C5 and Black must play F5, F4, right? Or maybe if he trades, you know, again, when he does this, he's probably thinking of E4. But see, look, that bishop's gone. We would love that bishop now. That's probably why he did it, because he knows the condition is different now. This would be really strong, right? But the other thing is that I think that's what he does, but Reshevsky finds a real crafty way to handle this structure. And this is the way we treat it usually. And by the way, I put in the sideline, you don't really want this because the E4 square is very, Silman talks about that. He has a puzzle like that, at least one, where he talks about, oh, well, there's the classic one in his workbook, How to Reassess Your Chess workbook, where it says, which way should we take? Should we take there's a bishop available to take? Is it the knight? Is it the rook? Or is
Uday said F4 for white.
And yeah, it is the G pawn that should take in that case. But now the calculation is a little bit different. You know, not hard calculation as in tactic, but yeah, but that you know, softer kind of positional calculation. What is missing? It matters because it
Wait,
allows for counter tactics. So Uday, yes, you're right. This happens in an English, and this happens in an English a lot, where you have like a fianchettoed bishop, and whenever black is going at me, I like to have the bishop, the knights on c3 and e2, so I'm ready for an f4. So you have like this, they have like, you know, pawns like c4, like this. You have like this structure, a great snake variation. Anyway, but you play f4 also when black goes f5, so it's a way to shut him down. You guys see that? Pretty cool, huh?
so you do take with the pawn.
You take, yeah, he does take back with the pawn, but his attempt to refute is with f4. Now Petrosian does something brilliant. I don't have the Petrosian game on hand, but he does something also kind of similar, right? So f4, and then after, he does knight g6. Well, in the Petrosian game, no, this is not the same. He goes, his opponent goes e4. Well, this is hanging on, now it's hanging on d3, but it doesn't really matter. You know, let's say he goes here. But then we have g4 ideas to, you know, to get the e4 pawn, to collapse this pawn chain. And what Petrosian has like a double exchange sack, if I recall, and he gets all in here, but something similar in a way, you know. So Fischer's like, okay, I got to hang on here. But the f pawn gets in trouble now. He can expose. It's not, it doesn't seem like it's that bad for Fischer. And he also has e4, but it just works out for Reshevsky. Look at this, queen d2. Rook e8. It's not like if Reshevsky had to see everything, but he kind of knows he has some play. And then here we are.
Udo has a chat in
And now
there.
he has a problem. Okay, thanks. And now he has a problem, right? I'm not really sure why he played this, knowing that that's going to happen. I guess he figured he could handle. But look, this is not so attractive down there upon it. Again, it's superficial. It is super. Like I said, it's kind of quote. Well, like I said, Fischer will make those kind of quote ugly moves. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to have that pawn there. It looks bad. But in this case, it probably is. It is bad. Well, the thing is, yeah, this will be fine, assuming this is guarded. Then we can push our pawns. But again, it's not really there, you know. And Reshevsky can kind of come in and everything. So Fischer's open. Imagine the bishop would look great, right? Assuming that's guarded, like with rook f8. And Uday, what was your question? Knight e1, c2 to d4. And say, oh, and that sideline. Let me see. So you're referring to like. Yeah, certainly. Because that's weaknesses in here. So you could certainly go knight e1, knight c2, knight d4, or Uday, maybe a blockade. But that's another thing when you're on d2, you might blockade here. I mean, the other knight has to move. But the interesting thing about knight f2 is it attacks e4 for a well-timed break. It's possible you just give him this and take this one. I don't know. Maybe not now, but there are many ideas. Yeah. Point is that you're going to swarm. I think that's what Petrosian did. He's swarming on the dark squares. Then he hits him on g4. It's very dangerous, right? Yeah, you can go. Oh, I actually gave that line, Uday. I actually gave the line because this is what I had. I just made a move. I didn't look at the sideline that I had already put there. So knight f2 is what I just put, but this is the line that I put before. It was knight e1, knight f6, knight c2, knight g6, and then it's knight g3. Computer says it likes knight e3 as well, or saying g3, but I think, yeah, this is sensible. And then it's saying, you know, queen c2, g4. So there's a lot of pressure. Point is that we can attack, we can break at will. So we had our first breaks going on where we had like f4 as a break. He bypasses. Boom, we hit him here. Okay, so queen d2, rook e8, takes. And then we get our knight coming to d4. So you see, it's just highly so Reshevsky effectively gains a positional advantage here. Now, he actually didn't take back with the pawn. He could have at this point. I think he wants that piece activity. I guess, yeah, let's check. I'm a little curious as to why what would happen if he had taken back? What am I missing? I guess let's figure this out. I'll take away the computer. Why do you think he didn't do the more kind of harmonious? Because this is guarded now. But there must be something he doesn't like. Let's see, think about it. Why would it's a reasonable looking move. Again, I guess he didn't care that much about the isolated f pawn, or he just figured I kind of had to. What's going on with that?
It'd be crazy to play like D6 and knight D5.
Doing what, sorry?
It'd be crazy to play like D6 and knight D5.
Well, what I'm thinking is maybe you play C5 first
Okay.
to prepare it.
Yeah, C5, then bishop
Oh,
C4.
oh, bishop C4, yeah, that too, plus your idea. So you have like the pieces swarming in, kind of like we looked at E3 and D4 squares. Now we're actually hitting the light squares. Well, we have the F5 weakness. It's a weakness. It's not guarded by any pawns, just the bishops. As you saw, they got in trouble there. Yeah, I think that might be it. But yeah, and then your idea. The thing is, if you go here, yeah, if he has to go C6 to hold it off, then you have a thorn in it, thorn in his side. But right now, I think you can trade it because this move threatens a fork, but he can like move his king up. But again,
Yeah,
he's
he's
got
a little reckless.
Victor has a lot of weaknesses. Yeah, we'd prepare it though. We just prepare. Let's see if it agrees. Let me C4 is the move. Let me C5. Yeah. So you actually get your C5 move in, which could have happened, you know, after a trade. Imagine it's like you get that in, and then the pawn trades, and you take back with the B pawn. We just didn't have to play before, but that's actually what would happen basically. Black usually wouldn't take for that reason to allow this to happen, but we want those fluid pawns. You see what I mean? So say we had B4, same concept, becomes the same thing. Get the two pawns there. We just didn't need B4. Okay. That makes sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay.
What is the point of G3? Like
In that sideline?
instead of knight D? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. After that, yeah, it's hard to hear you on with what it's doing. But wait, doing which
Yeah,
move?
yeah, there.
G3 in the other line? You mean with
G3.
it was just like a move that the computer gave before. I mean, yeah, I don't think that's the move because you want to keep G4. If anything, you want to keep G4. It's just a solidifying move, though. If you were to do it, what the point is that Reshevsky is just really solid in here. You know, it's just really solid. He has no weaknesses. You see it barely. So that's his benefit here. And then he gets, then he goes out.
Like
Wait, yeah,
not
Uday,
here
great.
in that line.
Yeah,
literally.
Uday, why don't you? Yeah, I think use the yeah, use the chat. I'll keep an eye out. But because it's hard to, it's breaking up too much. That's too bad. But I'll look. Or Lynn's looking too. She's looking out for us. So then he pushes to F4. He's just chucking his pawn at him though, just like tossing away his pawn. So he gets the pawn out of it. See? That's a pawn. Oh no, wait. He could take it's a little messy there. It's a little messy. He's guarding his pawn now. No, so ultimately it's just better structure. You see, a computer says +1.5. You wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it says +1.5. He just got the F pawn, and then he holds on to this pawn on D5. But should Fischer have just taken it? You know, I mean, there's a lot of tactics going on. He needs to solidify. But you see, again, he has a safer king. He has a pawn. It's pretty much winning. A little maneuvering, and I'll see there's a key moment that's pretty cool. Yeah, just up that pawn. Let me get rid of this. Okay, there's one cool moment. Trades it off. Good choice, right? You got, well, trade. Oh, wait, sorry. Don't look at the right. Okay. Well, sure, you go A4. Guard that. He still has his problems. Rook D4. Guard this one. But you see why? Okay, why is this? Tell me why you think this is winning. Oh, hold on, I'll be right there. Okay. Tell me why you think this is winning though. One sec.
It looks like the rook starts the action. Well, yeah.
A and C pawns. Okay. So black goes where? B4 or something? No, that doesn't look very active. Rook D3.
It's a rook D3,
D3.
rook captures C7.
Or you get 2 for 1.
That's what I said too. Rook
Okay.
captures C7.
Okay. So
And then you start moving your pawn up. And rook capture B3 and rook capture A7.
Ah, nice. And then the rook on A7 is guarding the one on A4, so he can't get that one. But then what about, I'm sorry, could you type that?
Yeah, you didn't
Yeah,
type it.
Uday, it's unfortunate. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Sorry, Uday. It's well, like
If
you
you could
thought.
type it,
Yeah.
though.
No, I could barely. It's like the kind of thing where it's very drawn out on the Zoom thing where it tries to capture your voice, but it just gets slows down like 5 times.
Well, he put in rook D3, rook capture C7, rook capture B3, rook capture A7.
Yes, and I mean
Perfect.
he's just
Yeah.
getting a pawn out of it. But it's
Yeah.
interesting that currently he's not even up a pawn because he's just, it's a really nice idea though. So he gets a tempo on G6, right? He goes back. Then he makes the choice to go to C2. But there's really, the thing is, it's sort of by necessity. Because I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to win right now solely by pushing your G and H pawns. He's not letting you get in there. You got to win in that. Now that's a factor for a rook, for a king upon endgame. So if we trade off the rooks, we're winning, right? Because we're holding them off on the queen side / center. We're winning on the king side, right? We'll tie his king down. We'll use it as a decoy pawn, right? Is that, you guys get that? You guys all got that? How we can win the king upon endgame?
Yes.
So we're anticipating that, right? But when you go here, you're like, look, I can't make any progress on the king side now, though. So let's go ahead. Let's trade this off. Now, the cool thing is the double pawns really help us now. I call them like sort of like the accordion of, well, especially with like a staircase of pawns kind of. So the benefit here is to get the A pawn, he's got to take the B pawn, move the rook, then take the A pawn. You have to move the rook again. He'd take him several moves just to start getting your pawn, to get those pawns. Meanwhile, for you, his pawns, which were fixed on the queen side due to good queen side play, as is expected in a King's Indian for white, we get those pawns, and then his pawns are trash, basically. That's just clearly benefiting us. He's got the, well, you still have to prove it though, right? Still got to prove it, which is pretty nice. I mean, hey, to beat Fisher, like you get this position, still, it's kind of like trying to beat a computer. Like you can start off with an extra piece against a computer, it'll still beat you in many cases, right?
Yeah, that D pawn looks a little scary.
The D pawn, yeah, you have to watch out for, so that's his hope, right? That the D pawn could decoy him just enough.
I guess
But then you still have, I mean, and again, the 2 against 1 on the king side, it's a majority, but it's really hard to win. I mean, rook, if we wipe out the other pawns on the queen side and center, that's not going to be a win. We should not be able to win that. Because even if we create a passed pawn, he's already behind it. It'll be a Philidor's position, Philidor's setup, where you can hold him off. Can't get Lucena. To get Lucena's position, you need to get your king in there to usher in the pawn. We're not going to get to do that. So you have to anticipate these king and pawn endgames, or more kind of bare rook and pawn endgames, more theoretical. This is not exactly theory. Well, there's theory behind this, but yeah, it's not like a theoretical position. But the theory of the 2 against 1, and then they're out past pawns. They go D5. We go rook D7. They go rook D3. Okay, now what? Well, we would have to consider them looking at our A pawn, by the way. But you can see that again, it takes them more time. So if they go after the A pawn, they could take, but you get this pawn. So now we're going to win. This should be a win, of course. It's a little awkward, but I don't know. I mean, it's pretty hard. I mean, we certainly have a lot of chances to win this position. Yeah, the rook's in front of the pawn, but we're up 2 pawns.
Looks like you did exactly what you said, Uday.
Oh, that's what Uday was talking about?
Yeah, you said we could attack his pawns, trade them down, push ours without counterplay, removing all pawns on the queen side.
Yeah, exactly. Then that's the line that backs that up. Very good. He has the idea. And that's the thing. What Uday said, stronger and stronger chess players like GMs, they don't always have to calculate everything. They have the concept in mind. And yeah, when the rubber meets the road, they have to actually have a concrete line, but it also depends. Like it can go down so many different ways based on what they do. It branches off. So in so many ways. So basically we need the main concept, and then we need to make it happen. And this is the way to make it happen. But first of all, we split up their pawns. So he can't go for the A pawn. It's too slow. And that's the benefit of our superior pawns, right? Superior pawn structure. But now we're still getting that one. Okay, but now we have to deal with this pawn. So we're just up one pawn here. So it's still difficult. Okay, let's come up with the winning method now.
Gotta be rook, I hope it's rook d6, or I don't know. It has to be.
You know, it's not rook d6, although that's reasonable because then you can
Oh,
push it to
man.
d6. It's not rook
Wow.
d6 though.
How
Might
about
work too.
rook A6?
There's another, well,
Ah,
rook a6, rook b4, you're gonna have to play b6 and be kind of tied in the b pawn. If you're tied to the b pawn, probably better to be on d6 because you're looking at d5 and g6. So we're trying to get the most efficient version. But no, he doesn't do the stuff with his rook over there. He does something else. But think about what you need. Think about this. Forget about what's happened. Just think about you just entered this endgame and you're trying to follow your endgame principles. Think about what you do.
Okay, Uday said king G3, A4,
King
question
G2.
mark.
King
King
g3,
G3,
g4, king
and
g3.
then what's next today? King g3, then what?
let me see.
What about g4 first?
He said king G3, A4, question mark. Like not exactly, but something like
Wait,
that.
what do you mean a4?
I don't know, he said something like that on the
Oh,
king side.
h4, maybe
I don't
h4,
know.
like king g3, h4, maybe. Something
Oh,
like,
h4, not a4.
H4, yeah, he said H4, correction.
Okay, so Uday, how do we progress here? Or anyone? How do we progress here?
hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to get my king up to h4, so like maybe by like king.
Or maybe you can just do G4.
Yeah. I'm worried about like if he tries to stop us, like by, well, no, he can't really. Can we try to put our rook behind our passer? Question mark.
Yeah, it's tough. You go behind it. I mean, you go to the side like rook d6 or something. Well, the moment you move, he's going to b4.
Mm,
Wait, no. Well, rook d6, he goes d4, and then yeah, otherwise you just take the b pawn. He goes d4, you go rook, he goes d4, you push, he goes rook b4, and no one's going anywhere just yet. It's tricky. It's really tricky. But what do we need? We need one more ingredient. It's not really playing h4, Uday, because we don't want to get that pawn rolling just yet.
Oh.
g4? No, I'm still stuck on that. But no. Mm,
Maybe,
Well,
rook
maybe you,
d6.
go ahead, Leah.
I was thinking maybe rook d6, because even if black plays a5, you would be capturing d5 first.
Yeah, so if you go rook d6, what does black need to do?
Push the
A5,
pawn.
oh,
Yeah, D4. Push the pawn.
Yeah, and that's where it's tricky, you know? So rook d6, oops, not there. Rook d6, trying to take it. He has to go. I mean, this is bad because I don't know. I mean, there's no point because if you're going to push anyway, may as well here be behind it. Oh, sorry. Push. And then you push, then he goes behind it. And it's kind of an interesting scenario. It's like, it's like, I don't know, what would you consider that? It's like a standoff kind of. Interesting.
Uday says we should get our king involved now.
Yeah, that's what he did. That's how he won.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think he moved those pawns. Let me see. No, he didn't touch the pawns. He played g3. That's about it. But it's really brilliant how he beat him. I mean, the computer might even say it's a draw at some point. Let me see what the computer says. Computer says that he's still, no, it's giving white like a +2 here. So it's still saying that he's certainly ahead. And he obviously obviously did what he needed to do accurately enough because Fisher could not find the right defense. Yeah, so he just goes king g3. Now he can start pushing the pawn. So that's very important, the outside pawn. Maybe if they had been reversed, it wouldn't work. If it were white's pawn on d5, you know, and black's on b5. But it's far enough away we can use it as a decoy. So in other words, the black rook, by the time we push it down, that black rook can't even go after our kingside pawns after some time, right? So we're keeping an eye on that, right? Keep an eye on it. Don't let him push. He can't, yeah, he can never push really because rook can't go to b2 to support it because we take d3. It's interesting. I like how the other game they have little, you know, little studies within a study. The other one had some cool, like 2 cool tactics in a row. This one has a really nice rook and pawn endgame. And again, like, it's not like you can just draw like, oh, this is not just a purely theoretical endgame. It's very complicated, you know. You have to kind of combine theories in a way, as in most cases, before you get to the bare bones theory. So rook b6 check goes back. He's enticing him to go forward and get in trouble probably. So he goes back. Now he's got to worry about his pawn on g5. So we hold him off. So he's kind of locked down right now. Black is really limited, right? And we're looking for favorable, basically favorable liquidation. Well, here's another thing. Okay, let's include one more facet here. Well, we already have, okay, so we have the idea of winning one of his loose pawns. And we blockaded one. We hoped in some line to win the D pawn. We have the idea of pushing the B pawn as a decoy, at least to tie down their rook, so we can ultimately try to move our rook, and he can't do anything about it. Yeah, so we have multiple things going on at once. So this is where we're really starting to accumulate our advantages, where it's starting to look like a real win. And let's see, I'm assuming the computer evaluation has increased. No, it has not. It's 10 + 1 or so. But yeah, it's, you know, it's not easy. It's still not easy. Maybe if you left it running, it would find more.
What? I would have played G4 100%. And it's saying G3.
G4 right now.
Yeah.
He did play G3. Yeah. G4. Well, the problem with G4, what do you think it is? It's not. Yeah. Here's the thing. You have time.
Yeah.
You have time. And while you're looking, let me check those messages. Let's see if I missed anything.
Okay. G4, and I don't really have any moves, and then he might luxwing me somehow or something.
Oh, I thought
Out of plan.
Yeah, I think we run out of moves. Like, why run out of moves when we, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like where you send, again, let's say you're in a king, you have to always imagine a king and pawn endgame whenever you're in a rook and pawn endgame. Always imagine the deeper endgame, farther into the endgame. But it's like they say, what's our end? You know, people use that so much colloquially, right? What's our end game? But in this case, what's our next version of the end game? End game with as chess players, we have to know end games within an end game, right? Not just an end game. It's like 5 end games. Well, like Rowson, you know, Rowson, he's a philosopher, Scottish philosopher and GM, and who's read the 7 Deadly Chess Sins.
Yes.
And he talks about, remember the part where he talks about how a chess game might be like 7 games within a game. It's not just opening, middle game, end game, because you have different phases of the opening. You have transition to the middle game. You have like late middle game after trade. You might have like an attack. Then you have the attack gets warded off. Then you have a transition to the end game. Then you have like 3 pieces in end game. Then you have 2 pieces in the, you know, so each one's like, and then you're down to like a bishop versus knight end game. And that's a whole game in itself. Oh, then you have a king and pawn end game, you know, so each one could be its own study. But the transitions are incredibly important too, because each transition is usually based on an important decision that's made. So
Funny side note is my ex's game is in that book.
Wait, oh, in the 7 Deadly Chess.
Yeah. He is one of them.
When
So,
you were together, they did that.
yeah, he was very
Oh,
proud of
okay,
that.
interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, that makes okay. So you said like with an end game, you need to visualize like what is your end game? Like what, like that's what you're saying, right?
What is the D? Yeah, well, anytime you're in a, what's your king and pawn end game? Really, in any end game, you have to envision what a king and pawn end game will look like. And this is obviously a winning one. But for example, if you play G4, no, that's winning. That's generally winning because you lock down the G pawn and you could bring your king in and kind of like walk them around. But still, if I had a choice, I'd have G3 for flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility.
Maybe first of all, I have H4. I have H4 to create a passed H pawn, which I probably don't want to do because it might be a draw. But I also have in reserve G4. So it's just, and then if I really want G4, yeah, once I have G4 and I can do whatever I want with that. Same thing as if it had already happened, but it gives me more flexibility, which is why I like it. Okay, Uday, I saw your comments. Yeah, you found that. Good. Okay, so we are looking at how do we act. Oh, we saw the move, which was the computer suggested, which was G3. Which is what he does. Again, we were talking about G4 is not, well, I'm curious, maybe it says it's closer to a draw if you go G4. It says it's a draw.
Ah, look at that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would have totally messed this up.
Yeah, stay flexible. Just remember, stay flexible. Now it's saying, see, now it's saying plus 2.6. They figured it out. No,
Wow.
white's winning. Well, so here's the thing. Here's another aspect of this. He's effectively hanging the G pawn, but by the time, well, you didn't hang the G pawn immediately, but by the time it gets to the G pawn, you're already running with your B pawn. Although I wonder if he had a way to push the B pawn a little more already. He probably could have, but then again, he's cutting off the king on B6. So give and take, because if you want to have your rook on B8, he'd probably bring his king over to C7 anyhow. And then remember, the king needs to stay on the 7th. They can't go to the 6th because then you have a check and you promote. If he's on the 7th, you check, he takes, then the rook still covers the 8th rank, right? So anyway, just concepts to keep in mind. So he does get the pawn. He guards the pawn. So it feels like it's drawish because we only have one thing on, and now the computer in the table base finally says losing, looking at various things, because the computer like has this in its database, in the table base, that this is already a known win. Various versions of this, pawn on H2, pawn on G4, maybe like that, different king placement. So now, but ultimately, look, I mean, we're guarding our pawn. They still have to worry about their G pawn in many cases, but that B pawn is just our winner finally. But now we have, with king G3 and coming out, we have the assistance of our king. Says Reshevsky was notorious for his time pressure and probably missed the most accurate finish, which was B6, but it was good enough. I think that's, I'm not sure if that's my commentary or someone else's commentary. I think that was, I think someone else gave a few.
I was thinking B6 too.
Yeah, B6 is just a maximalist move. What did he do? He went, I guess he knew that it was enough. He better know it's enough because he's giving up his H pawn. Oh no, it's because he's setting up Lucena's position, but he has to calculate. Yeah, it's good enough. He has to determine that this pawn, it looks kind of scary though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he has to go, and then he goes, this, so probably, I feel like rook C7. Yeah, also, he was in time pressure. But I think what it is though, no, here's what he knows, is that there's no way that king is stopping the pawn. I mean, rather, there's no way the king is going to be able to catch up with the pawn to promote it. Why is that? What happens if, no matter what, there's no defense, he resigns. There's no way he can assist the pawn. Even if it were, yeah, even if the pawn were back one on G5, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it is right now.
Can you
The
go
king
back
is-
a couple of moves, David?
But just right here, so you know, there's no way he can catch him because he pushes, you just come and get it. And
Right.
yeah, and otherwise, even if you just sit there, anytime he pushes, you come and get it. And then you're gonna just, and then in the meantime, you're gonna come over and take it. Okay, Lynn, which move?
No, go back. Okay, no. Okay,
No,
king,
Mark.
move the king up to C7.
Okay, right when you went here.
C7, yeah, there. No, I think you checked him. Yeah, check him with the black rook. No, I don't know. I saw something when it was there earlier. I don't see it now. It disappeared. Okay, sorry. Okay, no, if you pushed it, okay, it's black. I did see it. Now all of a sudden I don't see it anymore. It's like a
Well, maybe go back a few more. Maybe it's like,
So before this happened, well, yeah, this is where it's saying, oh no, it's saying, okay, so the most accurate move was B6. Okay, so B6, king takes B7, no stopping it, but still, like, I think he made a human move actually, because look, if he knows that he's going to get Lucena's position, and he knows in this case not king and pawn in game, it would be king and rook plus pawn versus pawn in game versus king and pawn in game. So he sees that, he sees the theory. He knows that when he wins the black rook, he's going to be able to hold off the pawn on G5. He knows that, so that's important. That's all he needs to know. So even if he weren't in time pressure, I think this is reasonable because you just don't want any ambiguity here. You don't want to miss something, but oh, if I give up my rook, you know, what if I miss something? I'm going to have a queen. So for example, just to show you before we move to another point, Lynn. So let's say let's say you push and they take. You know, it's still like no, it says it's a draw right now. So you don't want to get something like this. But no, I'm sure there was what was the better move order? But he has to be careful, right?
Yeah, I
So
wouldn't like that.
So wait. No, B6 is a draw. So whoever wrote that, no, I don't know. I don't think I wrote that. Yeah, it's no, because computer says best move, rook c6. I have no idea why that b6 move got in there as another. So he was notorious for his time pressure, and yet he finds the correct move. Okay, whatever. I don't know where that came from. Lynn, is your question a little later than this though?
Move black rook. It's time for black rook to move. So let's see what happens after. It looks similar in this position right here. I'm just trying to do a recall. Okay.
There's just nothing to do now. Yeah, so yes, this is more accurate. I don't think it really matters. Again, that might have been a time pressure move, but of course this is just simpler because, but he looks at, he's like, look, it doesn't really matter. Because if you check me, actually the rook, no, well, here we are. Because he knows you could do the same thing anyway. I mean, no, this is simple. Because if you go here, you push, right?
Right.
And we're just there first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably.
Yeah, no matter what's losing. And then king c8 is what happened. Guard it, and you're going to push. No defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what else can computer says best move, hang the rook. Well, it's funny how the computer does that. Sometimes when it knows it's losing, it makes a terrible move because the evaluation isn't that different anyway. Right? Because it's evaluating like 15 moves ahead where there's a mate.
Yeah,
So,
like when you do analysis, and it's like, yeah, that's the best move, and it's like you hung your queen because you're gonna get mated anyway. So it's
Yeah.
just like good.
yeah, and
Best
sometimes
move.
sometimes it helps you a little bit. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's easier for me as a human to figure out because you know, because I'm like, oh, that's clearly losing. The other one's like, wait, I have to think about that a little bit. But for the computer, it doesn't make a difference because it's easy. All right. So now, yeah, that's good though. We're working our way through the King's Indian. So we've done all these. I think we've done pretty much all the French games, at least quickly, pretty much in depth. Maybe look at like one or two quickly. Like we got the Najdorf game is very similar to the Fischer game, except the dark square stuff and the fact that he didn't play c5 this time. So no, the Najdorf game is actually, I'd say, probably a more typical advance on the King's side. And then the Fischer one is kind of different, an interesting c5, but variations on a theme. And then the Reshevsky game is very different because it's showing you that you can play. It's again in a similar vein to the c5 to slow down white's stop in its tracks. White c5.
Bye, Leah.
He gets f5 in. See you later. He gets f5 in, but it doesn't. He doesn't usually. Again, usually we see something like f3, f4, and you know, and then we'll see like b4. And that might be more of your classic. And here we go. And now we're going to see the as I said, well executed c4, c5 break while restricting g5, g4. See, so we always have some mix, you know, almost always. It's not going to just be, except for the Fischer game, but that's because he made that, you know, kind of preemptive move, prophylactic move with c5. Then it was one-sided. That's very important to know. And you see that as well in the game we went b5, a6. He stopped knight c4, the Taimanov game, right? So you see this the Najdorf game against Taimanov, right? So we see Taimanov just getting beaten up in all our games, right? We saw him lose 6-0. Now we see him lose against b5, and yeah. But you know, you got to play really creatively, and you do have to do some across the board play in a lot of cases, which is why it's a really rich opening. Okay, so now we're gonna see our classic win by white. Again, a little kingside play too, but we're going to see our classic c4, c5 break. Whereas Reshevsky's was stopping, was f4. No, as I said, kind of, yeah, destroying or you know, just really just making that f5 idea impotent, basically. So e4 castles, exploiting it. So we all know this stuff. We've seen this a lot. Or D5, provoke. But again, that's what black wants, because Nakamura loves this stuff, trying to crush Aronian with his F5, F4. And there's 91 again, so you're seeing this again. Same, I think this is the same opening, right? This might be the same moves, if I recall. No, except there was the other game where he played Bishop G5, but I think the other one he didn't. Might have been the same position, if you guys recall. So now F5. Now we got Bishop D2, a little different. That's actually the main move here, interestingly. This is theory. This is the main move, Bishop D2. Again, you could play F3. This just scores better. E takes F5. Wait, is that like the same thing? Takes. Wait, I don't recall. Is that the same? It's almost the same position, if not the same. No, but no, no, it's just that the Bishop G5 didn't happen. But it's the exact same concept.
Yeah, the take thing we're saying, and like
Fischer
you said,
did-
like with the Silman, the pawn takes, right?
Yeah, he took this way, but this is a better version than giving up. Yeah,
Oh,
Fisher's
'cause the
I
bishop-
guess
yeah.
Fisher was just experimenting, just didn't work out. But now, like I said, we would love to have the bishop on G7.
Yeah,
Now it's probably not that bad. Yeah, it says black is at least even. And that's exactly what Fisher did, but he just didn't have the bit. But you see the difference. It gives white far fewer prospects, and we see like, okay, white still scores better, but black's getting 33% of these and probably getting more in the accurate lines, like knight F6. Black's getting half score. Black's doing just fine. And now we have, remember that we were talking about that. I'm like, why didn't Fisher
bye
go?
day.
See you, Uday. Thanks for your comments. But now, even though the thing didn't work, it's all right. But now we have worked out. But now we have the same thing we were talking about, right? And Uday's like, oh, C4 bishop. But now, well, first of all, we don't have bishop C4 yet. And secondly, you can't go here because the knight just takes. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think so. That's crazy, huh? Is this working? Yeah, so black is up more than 2 points. That's crazy, huh? So it's the same thing almost. But in one case, it's not good to do this. In the other case, it's really strong. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, that flexibility again.
Yeah, you have to know, you have to be open-minded to say, you know what, I gotta just approach each position with an open mind. And I
Yeah,
know my patterns. I know it didn't work out for Fisher when the bishop was gone, but hey, maybe there are situations where this is still good if we have like a king on H8 and a rook on G8 or something, and the bishop's not in the way, which gives us a quick attack on G2 or something, you know? Or like maybe you've played C5 or C6 and the dynamic changes, or you have a knight on C5 or who knows what, but it just depends on the position, right? And the position is pretty much not gonna be the same. This is, I think it's the exact same position with almost exactly the same, but with the bishops, right? The dark square, but it's really interesting, huh? So he goes for the solid bishop D2, which worked out for him, obviously. Well, he gets his F4 in. And there's your break. He doesn't waste a moment. He said, well, again, it's kind of like Fisher going G5, G4 without the protection of H5. It's like, yeah, arguably you could go B4, then C5. But the point is he's just trying to stir up some trouble. And he kind of figures that it's not going to take, because then you're getting, oh, this has happened before and it won and drew for white. Only a win for white, not for black. So, it's not bad. Oh, Yarmo, is it right? Yarmolinsky, same rating, basically. He beat him in 1980. Interesting. He's the guy who lectured at, he still lectures there? I don't recall. At the Mechanics Chess Club in San Francisco. I think he's still alive.
sounds so familiar.
Yarmolinsky, yeah, if you look up Yarmolinsky, supposed to be a great coach. Just got a lot of lectures there. Okay, so takes, and there's our knight F2 idea. All right, move it back here. Oh, this is still theory though, interesting. Been played a lot of times. Probably is there, in some books and stuff. So now rook F7, super flexible. We've seen this covering C7. I was in the Fisher game, remember? Fisher didn't go to F6. I think he went to F7. Again, you see a lot of similarities. But the more you see this, and you don't have to memorize it all, but you just remember the concept. You remember the concept of the knight getting to G6. Obviously, you'll definitely remember F5, F4, and then C5. That's like the one thing to remember. But now you have additional themes to add on, right? Of like black going C5 or black going rook F7 to cover C7 to stop infiltration here, things like that. All right. Four, 5. You see he's getting some play though, right over there. The rook lift. Now that's an interesting concept, right? So queen a5, what's going on here? I mean, clearly, it's obvious that he wants a queen trade. Who do you think that would benefit more so?
Guess white has more of a space advantage on the queen side, but. And then,
Because if black takes white, then bishop takes queen. So it looks like white would probably benefit.
So the bishop comes in, but fundamentally, when you look at this position and you look at the main ideas of where each person is getting their play, you look at the bird's eye view here. Why does it favor white if we get a trade? And even if we don't get a trade, white gets something out of it, which is why he did that, to probe in there. But why do you think fundamentally he seeks a queen trade?
plus attack on the king, which is kind of the whole idea of the King's Indian.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and the King's Indian is pretty again, except for the Fisher game. That's just such an interesting game.
Yeah.
I'm really happy I found that game. I found it years ago, but I'm really happy I came across it because there's really not many other famous games that feature this in the King's Indian. I don't think so. Not really. I guess it's not a popular. Well, just he experimented. He did the bishop f6 thing instead of f6. Obviously, he plays so much, so he experimented and he contributed a ton to the theory in doing so. Right. So you see how like the best player, especially at the time, arguably or among the best ever, how he handled the King's Indian. If it didn't work for him, we can find improvements. Okay. So yeah, black is doing a one-sided attack. So if we can take away the queens, like it doesn't mean that black isn't gonna still do something over here, just like white does something over here. It doesn't really, even if he doesn't attack the white king, which he might, but even if he doesn't, black is still going to get fundamental play on the G file and like against F3, just like when we get play against D6 no matter what. There's always something to look at for us, right? Infiltration on C7, B6 is weak. So yeah, he wants a queen trade, certainly would benefit him. Computer says equal, but if he takes, probably favors white a bit. Yep, now it's saying
Wow.
+1. Simply because white gets his play and black doesn't have the kind of counterplay that they want.
And white got control of the whole C file, so.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's a
exactly.
thing.
We're going to go rook AC3, and we're going to do even more there. Yep, good. But you see, the thing is that white already has his advantages on the queen side, and black has his advantages on the king side, but mostly because of the queen. So we shift the balance in our favor because we take away most of their benefit. Then it's all us. Does that make sense? Whoever has an advantage now, whatever advantages are on the board are mostly ours. Black still has theirs, but it's not as good as it was. That makes sense?
Yes.
So because of all those factors, and again, in the aggregate, it's weighing in our favor. So, okay. So B6. So it's kind of like soft calculations. You need some soft considerations, kind of fuzzy consideration, but it's just fundamental. Hey, if they're attacking me, well, let's just trade queens. That's what it comes down to. But often it can be more complex too. Okay, that looks a little scary. But he has to hold this off, right? So he's holding off G4. Makes it harder to achieve. Look at that defense. So he's doing just enough to defend, but he still has 1, 2, 3. And then both the bishops, they can even be like this. They're both holding on here, but they're both attacking this way and defending. And then the knight, yeah, the knights are pretty defensive, but that's fine. Not to say they can't, they quickly spring forward, especially when we get into an endgame, like, oh, I'm ready to go, right? But even here, he might get some play on the king side because black is probably going to lash out. Again, because they don't have any play on the queen side, they got to make something happen here. And Nakamura wants to attack.
Yeah.
They get off the G file sensible. And attack. A very passive looking bishop there. That's a terrible bishop on C7. Queen A3, queen D. Oh, it's because he's trying to shift the queen. Okay. So if he moves the queen, there's not enough there yet, and he's going to be very happy. Even though the bishop's terrible, it doesn't matter that the bishop used to be terrible. What matters is that what we have in front of us is a good two-piece versus rook situation, right? And that also kills off much of black's attack because black wants those minor pieces to attack or to sacrifice. Usually we're seeing minor piece sacks. Now we're gonna have to rely on a rook sack to break through, most likely. Or less options. Okay, then this is where we're really getting our initiative. So say, okay, I see you're still brewing up something. Give Nakamura 5 free moves. He probably brew up a dangerous attack, right? He'll make it happen. So now he's getting the initiative here. Looking at B6, but he's just like, go take me. And he's gonna, okay, he wants to go B5 too. So I say he relentlessly pursues his queenside initiative before Nakamura really makes something happen on the king side, we said. Okay, so B5. All right, I'll get ready. Now we saw, I don't want to look at this for the theory. We're like 10 moves beyond the theory. Pretty long, pretty deep theory there though. So challenge. So he never takes it, not yet. So he goes here. But if you had, let's just say if you had taken
Yeah.
them, again, you're giving up this really strong bishop, which helps you play G4.
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking away that prospect, probably takes to the pawn. Well, look at that. You have a passed pawn, weak pawns, and another benefit, as we saw, as Uday talked about with C5. What was the main benefit of one of the main benefits of C5 earlier in that other game?
I think he said like bishop c4 or something, but I guess it can't happen here because of the rook. What did he say? I forget.
Yeah, bishop C4.
But
I mean, it's just strong.
okay.
It's just strong.
Yeah.
So you just improve your pieces, but he can't go G4 really. It just doesn't work anymore. That's why he has so much coverage. Even without the bishop there, you know, it's just.
Oh, I was bugging out.
Hey.
I thought it was bishop. I thought c4 was b5.
Oh, and B5.
Yeah, no, I just
Look, I mean, the rook is tied down to that right now. If you, I mean, this is very strong too. And then you have a protected passed pawn, and you always got to worry about this. And maybe the knight. Oh, this knight will probably do this. Attack B6, and you can. It's kind of hard to get. Well, a lot of times the bishop ends up on F2, but the knight ended up on F2 in this game. In that line, it's a common line. So, or at least it's probably like trendy, you know, back in whatever this was, 2000, around 2010 or whatever. There you go. What a wonderful. So now we
Wow.
offer another rook. So you don't want my don't want to take my first one, take my second one. Okay.
Yeah.
He has lied,
Oh
he
no,
has
my
lied.
rooks.
There we go. But the point is you're getting initiative and you've taken away a lot of his potential. He had the initiative in the sense that he was threatening G4. He wasn't there yet, but the fact that he was threatening it tied white down a bit. Now white is still has to be careful about G4, but not as much. He's safe now. So it's really hard to get there. I mean, he's gonna play like maybe a 9 F6, but we have 1, 2, we have 4 guarding. They would only have like 3 backing it up. And then have to give up an exchange to double our pawns, give it back. But by then we've got a lot of play and we're gonna promote. But look at that, he's probably gonna win. No, the problem here is that he's gonna try to win the B pawn. And then he has 2 connected. So it's really giving it up for maybe 2 connected pass pawns. Now he's not taking with the bishop, he's being smart about that, but keeping his bishop, keeping an eye on G4. Now he's aiming at B5, and that's very difficult. I guess he can go knight C7. He doesn't, then he lashes out. He's trying to get, it's kind of cool, actually, cool concept. But I mean, I guess he has, I mean, he's just so passive. Does this even work?
Yeah, that bishop is oof.
No, it doesn't work because he just takes the rook now. Yeah, so you can't do that. So he just lashes out. I mean, interesting, you know. So that's the con. So the knight takes. I'm not sure if the pawn takes, because the pawn could even take and gain access to E4. He's trying to open up his bishop or something. But yeah, he also has knight T6. I don't even know. It's not enough. Then he goes knight F5. So if you take him, he takes you, which he does. But then we get knight E4. And remember we talked about that square in the F5 line, where if they go F5 and you take back with the knight, that's what. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned that. I think I mentioned it briefly. Yeah, the E4 square. So even though it was covered. It looked like nothing was going to happen. Nakamura kind of helps him gain access there. I mean, it's a mess now, but Aronian's got to lock this thing down. So, I mean, I like Aronian's pawns though. I mean, I like that pawn, and this pawn's annoying too. And he still hasn't gotten anything going. Well, I guess he could play G4 now because you don't want to take twice because you lose a knight. But there's a lot of stuff going on. You got F6 and stuff, right? Oh, and then if he doesn't guard the A rook, you know, he's got to be really careful. And in many lines, this falls, you know, just lots of danger here. Probably white's winning, I'm guessing, are much better. Yep, plus 3.7, it's saying. So
Oh,
yeah, computer, it's just kind of useful to see with the computer if it verifies it for you. Okay, that's fine. So he's giving him, see, a lot of give and take, right? This is dynamics, right? Say, okay, it's just like the other game, we had to make some trades, you take the pawn on the right, I take the pawn on the left. So you say, okay, I get your king side pawn, you get my c6 pawn if you want, which you didn't even take. But then you have it's just bad, No, but no, he can't. He still can't do it, not yet. Well, if he does rook takes, you take a7. I guess he can do this one, but then you probably just like take b5, and you're completely happy being an exchange down in this position. Let's go back. You're up 2 pawns for exchange. I think he's probably pretty happy with this position. Something like that. It's just bad, It's a very bad situation. It says the thing is winning. It says something better. It said almost even. And maybe not. No, it likes this. Something else that I didn't see. It wants to retreat. I don't know. It wants to just retreat. Well, I guess because it's going to help out.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
he's
not
the
queen kick.
pawn, I guess. Knight can hover around. It's got nothing going on here. The bishop's still awful. Yeah. So knight goes to g7. But you see, the computer can affirm those things, like say, "Oh, you missed something." I say, "Okay, I agree with you. I don't have to agree with it." Now he is hanging his queen. Why is he hanging his queen? Sort of pseudo hanging his queen. Why is that?
Because his rook is gonna go right down and check the king by taking the bishop.
Take the bishop with check, and then what?
Take the bishop with check, and then probably move his knight.
Think about that. He has to move his knight, right? And then after the knight goes back, it's hanging. So he's giving up. It looks like he's giving up. He's giving up some material, but yeah, but he's getting a lot out of that. Check, taking off the computer. Check, knight back. Check, king has to go here. That does not look good. Oh, and we have a fork. Yeah, that's way too much
Yeah,
material.
you got a fork.
And the cool thing is that black has no real play anymore. Black was hoping, look at that. Black's king, white's king is so snug now. I mean, you give him a few moves maybe, but he just doesn't have the time. How much material? I mean, it's too much material. Oh, that's kind of cool. We have 3 minor pieces for a queen, and we have the pass pawns, and he's going to get mated soon. So yeah, that's kind of cool. It says +3. But yeah, we have 3 pieces for a queen, but it's acting as if we're up a piece, and we do have extra pawn. Oh, what's that, Nikki?
I was just laughing. I was just thinking like, oh, I was just thinking how would I continue in this position?
What would you do here? That's interesting.
I don't know, maybe bring the bishop in or snarf the pawn.
Problem is we can't go here because he just checks us. What can we do?
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe just take this.
everything looks.
Yeah, you have to be a little careful. We have to be a little careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to get checked back.
I don't want to lose my pieces back.
No, this is cool. Look, this is cool. So let's say he does. Oh, he's coming down though. Okay, we gotta be careful here. Because he starts some operations down here. I think I missed something. Let's say you go here. Well, now he might take and try to do perpetual. Let's say he goes here. Yeah, we got to be careful in this position.
Yeah.
There's not quite enough there. And we don't have a mate because we can't make, okay, wait. Well, what do we miss? Just not, okay. So
Okay,
yeah,
don't go grabbing pawns,
yeah,
maybe.
don't take the pawn. Don't take the pawn.
Okay, yeah.
Well, no, we could take the B pawn actually. It's just taken a better way. Yeah, of course.
Okay, okay.
No, we want to take it.
Fork, why not?
And then what? And then he goes here.
Has to
She
move
goes
his
here.
queen.
Okay, but now it's our move. Wait, no, this is cool because when I was looking at a line where the bishop's here and they take, then you can push. See? So check. What do we have here?
A bishop,
Check.
bishop C4.
Oh, wait. Does
Oh
this
wait, we're
work?
hanging. Hold on. What about our rook? We don't care. Oh, nice. Okay.
No, he can't guard it with the king because it's check. No, he has a rook move, doesn't he?
Ah,
Why don't you just push like without bishop c4?
push now.
Just right now.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you- Okay, that works.
That's the move. I got too complicated. So whatever okay. So queen d4 just doesn't work then. Well, that's with tempo. Where else does she go, actually? She didn't really have anywhere good to go. Okay, like here.
Queen takes
But
pawn.
there's no threat. There's just no threat there. What's that?
Queen takes pawn. Queen takes c6.
Oh, I'm blind right now. Okay. But then, yeah, but then we get the tempo. But at least you get rid of that. Yeah.
Knight hangs.
No, at least you get rid of that. Okay, so we go here.
A knight hangs.
I am so blind right now. Thanks for telling me. What do we do? Okay, what do we do here? Oh yeah, the knight's hanging. Okay, there, but there's
I'm
not
uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm nervous. Do we?
Bishop takes b5.
Yeah, then
Ah,
that's what
knight-
goodness is saying it takes. How about
Knight d6. Knight
Knight-
e6.
Knight where?
Yeah, but then it's queen takes. I was looking at knight e6.
Well, if you
Keep-
really want to defend the knight, you can go here. But I'm not sure if we hold that. Nope, that doesn't work either. Yeah, it's just a hard position to do. I think it said it's winning here.
Yeah,
Well,
for a computer.
I assume it's because of the fork. I don't think there's anything else. I assume it's because of the fork. Just make sure we're not missing anything here. Like something like this. Oh, that might be a nice inclusion. Oh yeah, for sure it is.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
that's what it is. No, because I was just like looking at the fork line. Yeah, that's nasty because you get the check. And then before he pins you, you use the bishop and he has to go. And then we win the. No, then we're mating. No, we're not mating. But we'll take the queen. Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
take
we'll
it.
take that queen back.
Just keep- so
for
the lesson is just don't like do the first thing. Okay, wait. No, then you take and you can't even take the queen because then you take the rook. Well, then that's completely winning with three minor pieces. Well, no, then
Yeah.
the way we win this easily is we just push the pawn now.
Huh.
Let's see if
Yeah.
we do it right away.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. You can just play this.
Yeah,
one.
just go ahead and push the pawn. I
Yeah,
mean,
either this or can we get away with pushing it now? Push to make push.
you could have pushed before you gave up the knight.
Yeah, you could just do that or maybe take this first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take
you
that-
push now. No, this is easy too. That's easy. Just push. He has nothing. By
yeah.
the time they get your pawn, you got a queen. Yeah, they're gonna have to give up the rook right here. Yeah, you can move again. I think this is no, you're getting a queen. Like you guys were talking about the other line. Yeah, you're just getting a queen. Well, you just win the rook, 2 bishops. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's
Well, I
something.
was kind of blind in a few. I guess I'm getting tired. But you guys are here to help me out on this, right? So what actually happened? Okay. So this is where I think, oh, he didn't take. But that's a cool sideline. You have to look pretty deeply. I mean, you have a big attack. It's the kind of thing where you don't have to look at everything, but you have like, let's say you have ideas like bishop h4 and other ideas that we saw on the fourth, and you kind of sense it. I think that was a concrete line actually, with the knight fork and then bishop h4 and rook g. I think that was the main line. Well, now we have the 2 pieces for a rook, so we're winning materially. We're crashing through. We got a pass pawn, pressure on e5. It's just we've stopped his attack. We're countered. This is a really effective counterattack. Now it's hanging. He blocks. Just pick up stuff. Nice. So he couldn't really hold on to the pawn, but he's trading down now favorably. He can't take. Queen can't take because he take and we fork. Maybe the rook can take. The other rook. I don't know. No, he can't. Can't take it this way, it's pinned. Can't take with the queen because we trade and we fork and we win the queen. And can't take with the rook because you lose the knight. Well, you would trade first, then you take the knight. Crazy. Nothing works.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
We have such a strong position though. King G1. So he's hanging this, but then he knows he gets to come in here. What is going on? I think it's because of this movie.
Because if he comes in there and then,
Well, you could even go, no, yeah, we just go here. It's just too much, I guess.
Yeah,
It's kind of
queen
a weird
D1,
move,
he
though.
can't get to you
Kind
in
of a
time.
strange move in a way. I guess he could have gone here too, but he wants more. Oh, what were you saying, Nikki?
I was just saying, like, in that last position, like, if black played queen D1, he couldn't get to him in time because the rook takes rook with check, I think.
And this line?
No, yeah, back. It was a back a few moves ago. Don't worry about it.
Was it this one?
Yeah, if queen d1, then rook takes rook. Yeah, if queen d1,
So he's
then
threatening mate.
oh wait, don't we have
We,
something?
we have a
Oh, I'm
check.
sorry, yeah, we just have
And
queen.
then rook takes, oh, that's mate.
Yeah, okay. I knew it was something.
I'm getting tired. Okay, so queen takes c6. No, good timing anyway. And I have 7 check. That's actually what ended up happening.
Oh, we tried that?
He ended up doing this, yeah. Think so. Yeah, this was the game. But now I mean, black has a couple more hopes. I mean, it takes a player like Aronian, though. I mean, you got to be careful. You know, he's playing Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. But Nakamura is it's just too much for him. But you see, you got to be really aggressive till the end, you know, because Nakamura, you know, he's down a piece now, but still, it's dangerous. Finds queen a1. Okay, looks dangerous. Some queen invasion. His bishops are doing a great job. They didn't really do anything, just kind of sitting there. But no, this bishop has lines where it took can take b5 or support the b pawn. Just guard, but the bishop was guarding everything, and the other bishop has lines where so they don't have to do anything yet, but they can spring forward at any moment, right? Then he resigns. So he was hoping for some perpetual or something. But then he just resigned. Why is he resigned now? Let's say, what if rook blocks? Well, if rook blocks, it takes away a lot of sting. If queen blocks, can we just trade queens or what? What if the rook blocks though? Yeah, if queen blocks, we just trade queens to take the knight. Game over, 2 bishops. What if the rook blocks?
Rook blocks, queen takes, and you're still left with just your rook.
Oh, you could,
But then you could
oh,
play
you could do that. Actually, that's interesting, Lynn. I don't
rook
think you could do
a6.
that, but you could, yeah, you can liquidate. That's game over. That's just done. That's just done.
Yeah,
Because I don't, well, you could give him this. Actually, that's a little annoying, but that should be done. Yeah. No,
Mm,
okay, that's we don't. Okay, no, I think this.
I don't
I think
know.
this.
Wait.
Yeah, no, I mean there are other ways to do that too, but I was gonna say probably just bring your queen here. That does the trick, right?
That's yeah, easier.
Because this is pinned, so you can't cover, and the queen has to guard, and you're threatening mate here.
Mhm.
But I think your line should. I think that should.
Nah, let's go with the one that
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
works.
I'm curious. Though. No, yeah, we don't want. No, I'm curious though. Look, okay, so takes.
Why make life hard?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
It's like the Reshevsky game. No, I think Reshevsky did the right thing there.
Maybe king
Now,
f2.
if we had the bishop here, that's different. It's cutting off the knight, and then we push comfortably. But
Oh
now
goodness, said king f2.
it's only giving us +3.
King
I'm sure the
f2.
other one. I'm sure the other one's much more with queen b7. Now we get +67. I like that.
Yeah, I'll take the +67 and not.
Yeah. Oh, what move were you saying, Nikki?
Oh goodness, said king f2 back when.
Oh,
Like
and
a-
the line where they take on. Oh, so they don't take on
And
E1.
everything that's yeah, like I think after the
Yeah,
rook
yeah. I was
f6
thinking there
thing.
must be. I know there's some way to make that work. Let's see. So yeah, he resigned though. He resigned here. But yeah, if he got here. Oh yeah. Oh, so goodness, you're saying like right here?
I think so.
Yeah.
No, I was looking at that too, but then the knight comes here. No, he doesn't make it in time. It's the
Yeah, I
same.
don't have-
No, wait, hold on. I feel like, wait, let's look at this again. It says it's +3, so it still should be winning. Okay, yeah, this way doesn't take F3. Okay, so you go here.
Two.
And
Push.
push.
So he's gonna, oh, there's that. It's a little tricky.
We swing our king in there or not even bother.
Maybe, yeah. We should be able to get the knight, but it's gonna take a lot of work. No,
Yeah.
it's here, then he goes here. Okay, well, let's go here.
Yeah, I think that just.
And then we move. But no, then he's gonna come back to B8. It's still, it's just I don't wanna mess with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would 100% mess this up.
No, but no, this is actually kind of cool because like, I think you're winning no matter what. Like, look, so let's say you go here.
I think you have enough time.
You're gonna get the H pawn, right? You guys see-
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got, no, I don't know. It's really complicated. Okay, let's say he waits, you come in, he waits here, you push, waits, you come here. So you're threatening No, you're not really threatening anything though. But he might get, no, it's gonna be a zugzwang. It's a zug, maybe.
I
Yeah,
would
I
just go
think-
eat the other pawns or try anyway. Unless
Yeah,
he
if
keeps
he
coming
needs to
back.
get in though. If he goes here, I think that's a zugzwang.
Oh,
You can't, he has to,
Wow.
because he has to abandon his knight, but he goes the other way. Wait, do we have to go this way? Let's go here. No, that's easier. Here. And then I think if we must. I mean, we have many ways, but I'm pretty sure this is a win. Yeah, you're gonna win all the pawns, but also I think we have more like tricky ways to do it. Okay, let's check, force him here.
I like the trickier ways, but
We can even go like here. That might be a zugzwang
Ah.
too. That might be a zugzwang.
that's nice.
Because the king can't go back. If the knight goes back, we take the pawn. King waits here. Then we attack the knight. That's kind of crazy. Right now.
Wow, yeah, that
What
is.
is going on? I don't know. No, then he goes here, and then we start. Well, look, I mean, we're gonna get these pawns, but I'm pretty sure this is again. It's just like, but assuming we had to get there, if we had to. Look, I mean, he doesn't want to trade off his knight either. So let's say he comes this way. No, that's good. It says it's a draw. What?
What? Oh, God.
It says it's a draw.
Hey, guys, I have to leave now. Have a
Oh,
good
because the
weekend.
corner, he's gonna sack. Okay, Lynn.
All right,
Thanks for
bye.
all your
Thanks,
thoughts on that.
Hey, bye,
Bye,
Lynn.
Lynn.
Always a pleasure.
All right,
See you,
bye-bye.
Lynn. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Wrong
Yeah,
bishop
that's
for now.
crazy. No, so anyway, let's keep it's kind of fun to play around with it.
Yeah,
But-
it is.
No, I'm sure
definitely-
there was a win. I'm sure there was a win. Okay.
I feel like
Yeah,
there
no,
was,
this is
but
right.
I'm
This
telling
is
you,
right.
like these positions, like I'll
No,
like
this is all
think
correct.
about them and I'll be like, okay, I got this, and then I will blow it.
Let's see how to get this. No, this is all correct. We did all the right line, obviously.
Just king.
No, we did all of this. Okay, hold on. We did all of this. No, wait, did we not look at this line? No, I don't think we delved into this line. Oh, right, it's the same thing though. No, I think I was talking about, I was like, oh, if you come in, he goes here, but I didn't explore it. Yeah, no, but you just go, same concept, you zugzwang.
Okay.
Well, let's see, he goes here. You do a waiting move, right? What do we have? It has to be a waiting move. What now, though? Do we know this? Okay, we know this is a win. So let's find out what happens after that. Let's see who can solve this, then we'll call it a day. We can find a win here.
Mm,
Okay, so making the queen doesn't work because they said it was a draw, right?
you want to get your bishop to, I think you want to virtually get your bishop to e8. That would
Yeah,
probably
maybe the queen. Oh, yeah, and the other one too. But this line, they're even shouldering us out. We can't even get to take the other pawn. What did you say?
I think
Go
bishop
here?
g6, bishop g6, no, bishop g6.
Oh, then you're gonna come this way.
Yeah, you want to get a
that's
bishop to
fine.
e8.
Well, one way or the other, yeah, it's either this side, maybe both, but I think I like your idea. And then when the king goes,
King
Oh,
d7 doesn't work because you sacrifice a bishop.
wait a second.
Bishop, I think bishop e8.
Yes. He can't stop it. He
Yeah.
can't get it.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah. He gets to go e4. Just make sure he doesn't go e4, but that line doesn't work because you're queening right away. So you can't go there anymore. I mean, okay, so he comes back and then you stop him.
Yeah, no, bishop d8.
And then you
Oh, that's
and
nice.
then- so he's corralled. Now what do you do?
We attack him with the king.
Yeah. I was looking at first, this probably works. No, that's better. You would. Yeah, you're gonna get the knight now. What do you
Yeah,
think?
king
Were you
c7.
looking at another move or? Yeah, I mean, this probably, in general, I would do.
Looking
I
at
would
king
attack,
c7.
but you already have a tactic, Nikki. Yeah, you already have a tactic.
Yeah.
Because this is like another,
Oh,
no, this is, that's complicated. No, this might not work. That's complicated. Because when you start running, it's kind of something similar where you get this. Yeah, well, I think, no, this might be a better version of taking the pawns, but yeah, you have a tactic, Nikki, like you said. You get the knight. You go this way, actually. You can't come
Yeah,
out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
go the other way, he checks you and you have to like wrap your way around. You go here. Game over. No, it's game. It's game. Can't go anywhere tonight. But I
You
would
gotta
just again,
practice those
for
on Lichess.
curiosity, what's that?
I gotta practice those more on Lichess.
Yeah. But for curiosity's sake, what was the other movie we were looking at?
I
Oh,
was,
yeah, if you come here, you keep the knight corralled, right? Yeah, let's say you could, so the. But then the knight does start to come out a little bit. No, okay, fine. Let's say you just go here. Here. And then the knight starts to come out. Well, he's gonna have to take it eventually, right? I gotta take it. I
I
think it's a
think the
better
king is a
version.
little bit too far. But it's,
It
the
says still drawn. It says still drawn. No, the problem is that this pawn is in the wrong corner. So they have to come back quickly though. It's slightly farther away, but oh, what's that goodness?
No, I was saying the king was farther, but
Yeah,
I think
exactly. It's farther away,
moving
but it still
is
says
farther.
draw. I guess, no, I think the concept is the knight. Well, yeah, the knight wants, well, I don't know, it's tricky. I'm sure there are many lines where white could win this, but there's like some amazing draws. Well, let's just look
where
at
he
this.
could sack himself for like the H pawn or something.
Yeah, but
And
well,
then
the
like
king,
get behind the H pawn.
Yeah, the
something
king
like
needs to
that.
get behind, the king needs to get behind it though. It's kind of tricky. You'd think that the king might not get there though.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to do it, but I would try.
Okay, let's just say the king goes like here. Well, look at that. It says only one draw. Well, yeah, sure. Wait, why would you have to give this up? Say go here. I guess now the king makes it. Only move, which makes sense. See, but you
Well,
force.
everybody knows that.
Why
It's
would you play
definitely king
F4 though? Like, why
C7.
would you play F4? What's that?
I'm just being sarcastic. I'm like, everybody knows it's king C7.
Wait, what if he goes to C6? That loses? Now king,
Winning.
now king G5 wins. Oh, probably because I have no idea.
I don't either.
Oh, no,
This
because it's
this
guarding
stuff
it.
is
Yeah, it's
crazy to
guard
me.
it. You get a tempo to guard
yeah,
and
light
then
way.
game over. Because now you can shoulder him out here. It
Aha,
says, again, only one winning move. I was looking at, oh, what about this move to keep the king out? Nope, you have to play
that's
king
not
H7.
it?
What? I mean, a king H7 is like a really hard move to find if that's the only
Yeah,
one.
that's like supposed to be the one that's the draw, and then he just like
That's
does the little
crazy.
dance with
I don't know.
you.
This is insane.
But I guess with the light square bishop, he can't do the little side, the back and forth dance.
That's insane. Yeah, let's just click on this. I'm curious. Let's just see.
Yeah,
It's some Zugzwang thing. Well, ultimately you do want to get here and king here, but like, it's just seeing something amazing where like, I mean, the bishop's got to outplay the knight. Oh, don't forget that we do have the F pawn. I don't know if that is included or not. Maybe it just anchors the bishop, but it's like a tempo move too. You can do a few things. These are all winning. Let's just see this one. Really? What's the knight doing over there?
what the heck?
What
I'm sorry.
doing? See, this is a computer because it knows it's bad.
Yeah, this is
Like,
like,
let's make a more normal move. Okay, like here. It looks like it's a draw though, right?
Mhm.
It looks like it's a draw because
Yeah.
you're stuck. It's like a typical pattern, but like, how does this, honestly, I'm baffled by this. I'm a little baffled. Somehow this is crazy. It's good to look at this stuff. You're like, wow, because I mean, a lot of people might even agree to a draw. Like you shuffle like, oh, I can't get my king out. But like, who's going to stick their king in front of the pawn knowing the draw pattern and knowing that you can't. No, there's some tempo gainer. Okay, let's see. This is crazy.
okay, some kind of knight like to F6 thing.
I guess it's going to be a
Huh?
pawn advance, but how do you even advance your pawn? It's a tempo gain. Oh, you shift your bishop to this diagonal, I guess. But then the knight just keeps wandering around. Like, I have honestly, I'm baffled.
What? Where is he going? Oh, he's gonna set up the
And that's why
pawn.
people use this table bases in computers and like figure out things that. But that king H7 idea is like a real problem move.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, we get out. Oh, that's what it is. Like ultimately I mean, the thing is like, we're just not stuck there, but no, we're gonna come back. Like I said, we want that position. I don't know why the king had to go there first. In that moment, maybe the king would have been able to
Oh,
move.
maybe to force the knight away or something, or
Yeah, let's go back there in a minute. Let's revisit that real quick before we finish, because this is crazy. But now we know he can't do anything. Okay, so now we have time to push our other pawn, perhaps. Maybe that's what the final straw is. We go away from the pawn, but this pawn is just hanging out. Like no one's touching the pawn. Okay, but still, we have to know how to win with the second pawn. We're outplaying the knight though. Completely. Okay, that's winning.
Okay, if
Yeah,
he's
but he does
suggesting like that, take the knight, what, is there a stalemate? No, okay.
So now, I guess we want our king here or here to push, then his king can't stop that one. We just have to be there where the knight can't check us now. That's crazy stuff, though. That's really, even a lot of GMs, I'm sure. Oh, no, now we just are gonna promote one of them, yeah. But that's crazy stuff that, this king h, and the fact that king h7 is the only win, that is a real problem move there. See? So like, let's say you make a normal move like f4. Then but look, they have to make the right moves. Okay, that's obvious. f5. Only move that draws, but again, an obvious move. Okay, no one's gonna hang the bishop right there. Okay, let's say they go like bishop here. Oh yeah, but that's the whole point. They want to sack to get the
The
king made it there in time. Okay, so basically once the king comes over, you can't let them sack the knight for the pawn. My only question then is, why do you have to let the king come over? Like, what if we just go after it right now? I mean, the king just runs over anyway. See? No, you can't stop him. See some king move. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah, but we're not gonna hang our bishop, right? Not yet. But the king could just go to f8. Same thing. Not f7, that's losing. f8. But still, like, somebody could easily mess this up.
Oh, yeah.
If f7 loses. I mean, of course, I meant to click on f8, but I guess the check. But then you're going to be able to push with check. You have to play f4 though. You can't play h4. But it makes sense because we want to push it as quickly as we can so the knight can't sack for it. But we have to do some crazy maneuvers. It's some crazy maneuver where we don't let the knight get there. You have to play f6. And then you have two bishop moves. You just can't let them get there. Well, now we've limited. But you're really seeing, and you see this in a lot of Fischer games, you're really seeing the power of the bishop over the knight in the endgame.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. So
Yeah, just at the fact that the knight just always has to kind of like jump around, like he always has to go somewhere where the bishop can kind of just be like, hey, I'm just hanging and chilling, like, and controlling this whole long diagonal. And like he always has to
I thought
kind
you
of
were
like
gonna
go
say chilling
somewhere
like
useful.
I thought you were gonna say chilling like a villain.
Chilling like a villain, yeah.
But yeah, it's wild. So great games.
Yeah,
those-
thank you so much,
yeah,
David.
those are
Always,
great games,
always
great
love your
world champion
classes.
games.
You're the best.
Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying them. Yeah, it's great to have you guys. I love your comments and everything. But yeah, I love these games. Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
these are
And the
really
sidelines
helpful.
too. But yeah, it just shows you studied the game though. But you see this it's not especially not against Nakamura. It's not linear at all. But we're doing our thing on the queen side. We're sacking. We're slowing him down. Then ultimately, though, I think it was pretty much just collapsing soon.
Yeah, queen sack is pretty nice, you know.
And then it's a brilliant game. I mean, the way in which he had to, but you hold off Nakamura by being aggressive. You don't hold him
Yeah.
off by sitting around. But he
No,
was kind of
he's
sitting
not.
in terms of nullifying the whole G4 thing. So a lot of times it is like rendering their pawn break ineffective. That's a huge part of it. And once it is ineffective, then you got to strike hard. You got to strike really hard. Like even here, it's very complicated, even though he's upper piece. But then he does this and where did he resign? He resigned here. But we were looking at the line that Goodness mentioned, which is hard. But hey, yeah, we keep it simple for ourselves. Not me. I was saying bye to Leia. As in, okay, Uday was
Oh,
now.
that was forever.
Now we actually did. Now, well, it's like an all-encompassing bye. It's either bye to Leia and bye whenever I leave, because he has gone now. But yeah, no, I'm glad it worked out, even though his connection wasn't.
What'd you say again? Render their pawn break what? I forgot. Ineffective?
Ineffective.
Yeah, okay. Just writing it down.
Just make it so, yeah, like G4. I mean, I thought he might even try and go G4 where White has to like take twice and double his pawn or something. Ideally, White would take with the F pawn, then the bishop, so he doesn't have to double his pawns. But like by then, you might double your pawns, but you've slowed them down enough to the extent that you're coming in. And there's a good example. The queen side attack combined with him exposing his king side leads to your own attack on the king through the
Yeah,
side.
I like what you said, like when you strike hard.
You have to, yeah, and you have to get dynamic.
Like
Things
Cobra Kai.
got really, really when did it get dynamic? It got really dynamic with like when Nakamura played D5, but that was after. Well, it started with these. It started with the whole like the rook sacks And then without letting him come in, and then his pawn comes in. And then Nakamura made it real, I mean, that's Nakamura's specialty, he's gotta make it dynamic with this stuff. And then he hangs the knight, and then it got real messy, but Aronian had to roll with the punches and made it work. Cool, awesome work, guys. I'll see
All right,
you
thank you
next
so
week.
much.
Pleasure.
Nice talking to you, John, and goodness, David. All right, have a good
You
weekend.
too. You
And
too,
yeah,
guys.
thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, bye,
Good
guys.
thing. See you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.